The Shattered Vale. Ebonheart is a dark world where the boundaries between life and death are thin, and the undead walk among the living. Towering, ancient cathedrals juxtapose against decaying skyscrapers. A perpetual twilight hangs over the land, with the sun only peeking through the clouds for brief moments each day. Chapter 1: The Ghost Town. Havana stood at the threshold of the ruined city, a haunting figure against the dimming twilight. Her appearance was striking, almost otherworldly. Once, she might have been described as beautiful, with soft, pale skin and eyes that were once vibrant. Now, her complexion held a ghostly pallor, a testament to the curse that had befallen her. Her hair, a long braid of snowy white with a faint pink streak, fell over her shoulder, a remnant of the vibrant person she used to be. The most unsettling feature, however, was her mouth. It was torn open along the sides in a grotesque, permanent grin, blood smeared along the edges as if it had never quite healed. This wound marked her as one of the reclaimed, those who had survived the Vale's corruption but not without a terrible price. Havana's lips were perpetually stained red, and her sharp, elongated teeth were visible even when she wasn't speaking, giving her an appearance that bordered on the monstrous. She was dressed in a light purple jacket that hung loosely over her lithe frame, paired with snug, cream-colored trousers tucked into fuzzy lavender boots that seemed oddly out of place in the grim world around her. Despite her macabre appearance, there was a calm, determined air about her, as if she had long come to terms with the creature she had become. In her hand, she held a leather-bound tome, worn and weathered, yet clearly cherished. This book was more than a tool, it was a piece of her past, a connection to the life she once had before the Vale tore it all away. Havana's fingers curled protectively around its spine as if drawing strength from the memories within its pages. Though she moved with the grace of a predator, there was no malice in her eyes, only a deep, enduring sorrow mingled with fierce resolve. Havana was a woman caught between worlds, no longer fully human, yet not entirely lost to the darkness. She had become something else entirely, a bridge between life and death, a living paradox in a world where such things were not meant to exist. Her presence was a warning to some, a beacon to others, and an enigma to all. Those who crossed her path were left with an unsettling mix of fear and admiration, for they knew that within Havana lay the power to either save the world or to destroy it. The streets were eerily silent, save for the occasional rustle of something unseen moving through the shadows. Ebonbridge was known to be haunted, not by spirits, but by those who had been half consumed by the Vale's corruption, caught between life and death. They were called the vassals, mindless beings driven by the remnants of their human instincts, yet animated by the dark magic of the Vale. Havana's mission was clear: she had to reach the old cathedral at the heart of the city. The Reclaimed had intercepted rumors of a powerful artifact hidden within its walls, an artifact said to hold the key to mending the Vale. If it existed, it could either save Ebonheart or doom it entirely. The Heart of the Sun was what it was called, a name that invoked a sliver of hope in this world perpetually shrouded in twilight. As she ventured deeper into the city, her sharp senses alerted her to the presence of the vassals. They were close, but they didn't seem to have noticed her yet. Havana's hand instinctively reached up to her face, brushing against her bloodied lips. The hunger stirred within her, an ever-present reminder of what she had become. She shook it off, focusing on the task at hand. The streets twisted and turned, leading her to a narrow alley that seemed untouched by time. The vines creeping along the brick walls were vibrant with the colors of life, a rare sight in Ebonbridge. She hesitated for a moment, feeling an unusual warmth emanating from the alley. Something was off, but the cathedral was just beyond it. As she took a step forward, the warmth intensified, and she heard a soft, melodic hum. The sound was strangely familiar, and it drew her closer, as if beckoning her to follow. Havana's heartbeat quickened, her instincts warning her to turn back, but her curiosity overruled her caution. At the end of the alley, she found the source of the warmth, a small, glowing orb hovering just above the ground. It pulsed with a gentle, golden light, casting long shadows that danced on the walls. Avana's breath caught in her throat. The orb was a fragment of the veil, torn from its fabric and left to wander the world. She reached out tentatively, her fingers barely brushing the surface of the orb. The moment she touched it, visions flooded her mind. She saw a time before the veil was torn, when Ebonbridge was alive with laughter and light. She saw herself, but not as she was now, a human, vibrant and full of life, standing in the cathedral with others like her. And then, the veil cracked, and darkness poured into the world, consuming everything in its path. Avana gasped, pulling her hand away. The orb flickered and dimmed, but before it vanished, it imparted a message: the heart lies within the sun's eye. The vision left her shaken, but it also gave her new determination. She knew now that the heart of the sun was real, and that it was somewhere in the cathedral. But the sun's eye? What could that mean? Chapter 2: The Cathedral of Echoes. The cathedral loomed before her, its grand spires piercing the twilight sky. Time had not been kind to this sacred place. Its stone walls were cracked and weathered, overtaken by the creeping darkness that pervaded the world. The massive, intricately designed doors were slightly ajar, as if inviting her to enter. Avana pushed the door open with a creak, stepping into the vast, echoing chamber. The stained glass windows, once brilliant with depictions of saints and gods, were now shattered, their pieces scattered across the cold stone floor. The sunlight that once filtered through them was now nothing more than a distant memory. The air inside was thick with the scent of decay, mixed with something ancient and powerful. Avana's eyes were drawn to the altar at the far end of the cathedral. It was there she would find the heart of the sun, or so she hoped. As she moved down the aisle, she could feel the weight of eyes upon her. The shadows in the corners of the room seemed to pulse with life, watching her every move. The vassals were here, drawn by the same power she sought. Avana reached for her belt, where a small vial of blackfire elixir was stored, a concoction capable of burning through even the thickest darkness. She poured a few drops onto the ground, and the liquid ignited with a hiss, creating a barrier of flame around her. The shadows recoiled, hissing in pain, but they did not retreat far. They were hungry, and they would not be deterred so easily. Reaching the altar, Avana found a circular indentation in the stone, perfectly shaped to hold an orb like the one she had found in the alley. She placed her hand over it, and a soft click echoed through the chamber. The ground beneath her feet trembled as the altar began to shift, revealing a hidden staircase descending into the depths below. Without hesitation, Avana descended the stairs, the darkness swallowing her whole. The air grew colder as she went deeper, and the sound of her footsteps was drowned out by low, rhythmic thrum that reverberated through the walls. She followed the sound until she reached a vast, circular chamber, the sun's eye. In the center of the room, floating above a pool of black water, was the heart of the sun. It was a radiant sphere of golden light, pulsing with energy, yet somehow contained within a shell of translucent crystal. Avana felt its power calling to her, but she also felt the presence of something else, something ancient and malevolent, lurking just beyond the edge of her perception. She approached the heart cautiously, extending her hand toward it. As her fingers brushed against the crystal, she felt a surge of warmth, unlike anything she had experienced since becoming one of the reclaimed. It was as if a piece of her lost humanity was being returned to her. But before she could grasp the heart, the darkness around her coalesced into a form, a towering figure draped in tattered robes, its face obscured by a hood. The Veil Wraith had arrived, the guardian of the heart, and the embodiment of the veil's corruption. "Turn back, abomination," the Veil Wraith's voice echoed through the chamber, cold and resonant. "This power is not for the likes of you." Avana stood her ground, summoning the strength within her. "I seek to heal the veil, to end the suffering of both the living and the dead." I will not be turned away. The veil wraith hissed, extending a bony hand toward her. The veil is beyond repair. The world must fall, and only then can it be reborn. With a swift motion, the veil wraith unleashed a wave of dark energy, but Ivana was ready. She raised her hand, and the black fire from her vial erupted in a protective shield around her, clashing with the veil wraith's power. The two forces met in the center of the chamber, light against dark, life against death. Ivana knew she could not hold out for long. The hunger inside her was growing stronger, threatening to consume her from within. But she also knew that this was the moment she had been waiting for, the moment to prove that she was more than just a reclaimed, more than just an undead. With a final surge of will, she pushed forward, breaking through the veil wraith's defenses and grasping the heart of the sun. The light from the heart exploded outward, filling the chamber with a brilliance that drove the darkness away. The veil wraith let out a final, agonized scream before it was consumed by the light, dissolving into nothingness. As the light faded, Ivana collapsed to her knees, the heart of the sun clutched tightly in her hands. The power within it was overwhelming, but she could feel it. This was the key to mending the veil, to restoring balance to the world. But as she gazed into the heart's radiant core, she also knew that the journey was far from over. The veil was vast and deep, and many more trials awaited her. But for the first time in years, Ivana felt a spark of hope, a hope that one day, the darkness would be driven back, then the world of Ebonheart would be reborn into the light. And with that hope burning in her chest, she rose to her feet, ready to face whatever lay ahead.